Just do the check of can I be heard on my own stream? Perfect. Alright. Well then, as always, casting games. Let us go to the front page and see what I can find. For short, 9 minutes. I want a little bit shorter. Plenty of games. There's 5,000 games going on. I mean, it's the weekend. There has to be a game that's gonna be like 2 minutes. Exactly what I'm looking for. Like, I mean, it's the weekend. I mean, yeah. So I should be able to get in this game. It should be like on Zipline. Hopefully, give me a little bit more time to explain the team comps like I would if there was a draft. But without the draft. And since I can see them right here while it's loading, I can start with Hidden King, where we have our a frontliner and a half frontliner, half Spirit Nuker in Abrams and Apollo. Abrams is just one of the best frontlines in the game. One of the two staple, really can just solo frontline through anything and everything. Really a staple character, unstopped shoulder charge, tons of damage, tons of sustain in the book. Makes sense. And the Prince of Ixia, having his 3 to get heals on a perfect advance, his 2 to stun and basically counterspell, and his 1 for massive damage and even more movement. And the 4 just an execute, as always in MOBAs, executes with a huge range are strong, because why shit ult is so strong and so follows. And ultimately, why you have characters like Mina, who's 1 are very strong. Then you have their support page. Page is a very common support scene. More of a util support than a healing support. Their 3 immobilizes, their 2 gives a shield, their 1 does a ton of damage, and their 4 is a stun, and also heals. But the main part of their kit is they have that their 3 is immobilized, their 4 is immobilized, and their 2 is a shield and fire rate. Just such a good util support. Then we have Grey Talon, who is a Spirit Nuker that does a ton of damage with their 3, which gives them a nice little curse of trap for an area. Their flight, which makes them do extra damage and gives them a ton of dashes they can do in the air to basically get out of every situation. And the charge shot, which just does a lot of damage as they scale with their spirit ult, the stun, the execute, the extra spirit power they get from it. It's a good ult. Then over on the right lane, we have Geist as their M1 carry. Geist is one of the strongest M1 carries currently in the game, with their 3 giving them their huge damage buff, their gun just having a lot of base damage, and the 2 giving them heals to basically win any exchange. Their ult being a full reset, you can kind of like cheat death, go in on that Moan Krill, set that Moan Krill to 1 HP, give yourself full health, kill the Moan Krill, and it's just a very strong M1 right now. There's a reason they're considered one of the top 2 M1s. And then Paradox, which is a fit character. You got your 3 for your speed and damage, your double bomb which can do damage, your wall for the silence, and a shield, and the swamp for the kill. Over on the blue side, you got Wraith and Calico. You got Calico for your really early game tempo damage, you get your Ruling Bombs, your 2, really Spirit Nuke anybody into the gray screen in this early game, trying to hold tempo and hold pace as the goal of Calico in this early game, and mostly in this game to be an assassin and try and get ahead early. Then you have Wraith, who is the best late game scaler in the game. There is nobody who gets as much advantage from having more souls as Wraith does. Their cards, their 1, I mean, you just got infinite ammo, a ton of attack speed, a teleport out. The cards do massive damage, and the ultimate, which is a capacitor and a stun and a displacement, like, they have everything in your kit to be an amazing late game character. Then you got your Lash, who is a nice Spirit Nuker and pick with that ult and the amazing gun damage as we've seen more recently with people playing Gun Lash. You got your Stomp for damage, your Blog for healing, your 2 for movement, and your 4 for pick and team fight. It's a great character. And Kelvin, one of the best supports. A little bit behind Ivy and Viscus right now with Ivy's damage and util. And Viscus's healing and util and damage and everything. But Kelvin has a lot of damage, he has a lot of ability to bypass. His grenade can heal and deal massive damage to his off character. And it seems like with the Kelvin who's being jumped by this page and the Paradox is gonna go down to the page's captivating read stuck in that book. And that beam, a lot of damage, and the Dome, one of the best util abilities in the game, gives healing and an air, and it traps your opponents in with you. is just such an amazing character, and there's a reason you see them picked pretty often in comp. Maybe not the current moment, but there's been parts where they've dominated the meta with their ult. And finally, we have Mo and Krill, who's their frontline and another fit character. They're ult giving them even more HP as the game goes on. Their 3 being a disarm, their 2 letting them get movement and go through the tunnels, and their 1 for heal and damage. Overall, a good fit character, a lot of sustain, really hard to pin down with that burrow. And you have Mina, one of the hardest characters to pin down, with their triple bats, able to move anywhere, and basically having their own counterspell, their Dispel Magic. Having their counterspell, basically, because they can get rid of anything that would stun them. Like a knockdown, a 7 stun. They can go through Pocket Affliction if they time it correctly. You have their ult, which is a nice silence, and max health damage at max level. You have Love Bites, which just does an insane amount of damage, is able to cross Tank Buster, and their 1, which is an execute and a heal. So you'll see them use that on minions, on level enemies, entering the fight. It does it all.
You can't catch me.
And now at this 5-minute mark, it seems like we have had 2 kills on this right side, and 2 kills on this left side for the Hidden King. It seems like Hidden King is about 2k ahead, which is not insurmountable, especially since the early game kills don't have the highest amount of bounty compared to what minions can just give you if you farm. There's a reason even when teams get a kill or 2 in lane, they do not end up winning the lane. If you look at this, Calico is trying to jump on this page, trying to use their namesake butterfly and assassinate them before the Apollo can get there. But the Captivating Read and the Disengaging Sigil, all that damage being done to the Calico and the Spelling Cast, will they be able to get out? Apollo going for the tower dive, already using the 3, getting parried, but Calico getting parried, and the Apollo dying, and the Wraith getting ulted, and the Page also getting ulted under the tower, and the Page dying, and the Wraith able to get the double kill and take that trade gladly. You want your Wraith ahead and fed early. This Wraith at 5.2k and may just be able to start running the lobby way sooner than they normally would be able to. Amazing trade for the Arc from the other side, exactly what you want to see. But see, look, the Apollo is going back in, looking for the Calico and Wraith, who's very low, trying to make this a 2 for 2. They get their ult up, and they go, and they're gonna get the ult and slice straight through the Wraith. And it seems like the Page is still on that Calico, and the Calico is very low, and the Page does get the Calico with the book.
We need to keep the momentum going.
Sending them both to the gray screen, and while that trade went from a 2-1, it is a 3-1 in the favor of the Hidden King. It's Apollo doing what they want to do as a Spirit Nuker early, and a semi-front line, trying to get all that damage in and keep the Wraith down. Over on this right side, the Paradox is quite low, and the guys, could the Kelvin and Lash try and go in here? It looks like they used both their ults, but Lady Geist does have the ult up, looking for the ult on the Lash. Or no, Lash going for the slam, and you get the swap for the Paradox, and the Lash lives, and the Paradox goes down, and the Kelvin's going with the beam. Does he have Ice Path? Does he have grenades? The Lash goes to the side and flogging straight into the Geist. An amazing trade. Just a dominant performance from this Lash and Kelvin. And Page goes and gets the parry on the Calico and uses the shield. It gets the parry on the Calico again! No way. Are the Calico gonna die to this double parry? They go for another melee, but the Page didn't go for the parry. The Page does have shield up, and the Calico does have their ult, but the Calico does not get out thanks to the Apollo's Sigil. Sending him straight to the gray screen. The Prince of Ixia is doing a great job at keeping this Calico Wraith down. And over here, it seems like we had an arrow pierce straight through the soul of Millen Crow from that Grey Talon. The Grey Talon is going in under that Guardian. It's just going to keep shooting at that Guardian. Seeing the Hook Mina, not really seeing as a threat. There is the curse trap there. Hoping maybe the Mina walks in, but the Calico walks in, but the Abrams gets buried under tower, which is going to be a real bad time for the Abrams, and they die to the Calico, to the Assassin. An amazing parry from that Calico Mina. And now there is 3 on this left lane. Trying to go for this Grey Talon. Calico is running behind. Does Grey Talon see the cat? The cat does not go in, or the cat does go in. Grey Talon not seeing the cat, going in for the flight, getting the charge off, but Millen is also there. With an ult, if the Grey Talon is out of position, we could see an ult from Millen Grill here, and we don't. They go back, taking their kill, and getting out. And it seems like Page and Apollo also looking for this Wraith, taking advantage of that 2v1. But now they're going in, trying to make this from a 3v2 to a 3v4. But Abrams gets ulted by the Millen Grill, and Abrams is going to charge out, but the Abrams does go down. And the Calico gets parried, the Calico does go down, and the Apollo coming in and just cleaning up. And we have the ult going in. And does he jump on? He jumps on the Mina. Instead of going for the Millen Grill. Does this give Millen Grill the chance to get out? It does, but does Mina get out? He has a 3, and he gets straight through the Mina. Well, he let the Millen Crow escape, he did get the Mina. It was really a choice of one for the other. They were not going to give him an opportunity to ult both of them. An amazing display from the Apollo right here. It seems like we have 4 on this right side looking for this Geist and for this Paradox. Calico is coming in behind, but the Page is also in that jungle, ready to rotate if need be. Geist is going in, goes in and out. Calico comes in, goes for the parry, but misses the parry on the Calico. And Calico is going to run through, but Calico does get slowed and killed by the Paradox under the Guardian. And we have the Kelvin Dome trying to save himself, but ultimately just trapping himself in with the Geist and Page. And the Lash missing the ult on both of them. I don't know what happened to that Page, but he did not get the ult on that Geist. And the Page is running away, goes for the healing grab, but the Lash comes in for the shots to the head to kill. And the Moan Krill is looking for this Geist, but and the Geist goes back in trying to defend their tower, and Paradox is here. We're looking for the Paradox Geist to go in. Maybe they can clean up and kill this Moan Krill Lash. And the Moan Krill is low, and they have the Drain. And the Moan Krill dies to the Kelvin. Dies before this Kelvin Snowball can go and heal him. The Lash has lowered that Lady Geist HP without swap. This could be a chance for the Kelvin to come in and snowball and beam down that Geist. Lash is going in, looking for the kill, and the bird comes in, and the bird is not in time to save the Geist from the Lash. The Paradox is running, but the Lash is overhead. Does the Lash try and keep going on Para? No, the Lash decided not to go for the Para, but the Para does keep shooting at him. And we see that gun buff go to the Lash, and Lash tries to get out. That slow, not gonna do anything, but GT is nearby. Is GT able to chase this Lash? Gets stuck on the sign, and the Lash will manage to escape the Page and the GT over in their jungle. And it looks like GT is trying to deliver the urn, but we have Kelvin coming to block it. It gets dropped, he gets picked up. We get the Captivating Reed slowing him down. Which team will prevail with this urn? And it seems like Kelvin is going to go down to the Great Talon Arrow, and they will get the urn. But Calico securing almost all of that urn. Or Moan Krill, sorry, securing almost all of that urn from the enemy team. Calico is there looking on this Page. The Page, but misses their 1 and 2, and the Page is just going to calmly walk out of this engage. It looks like we're 5k up for the Hidden King side. This Apollo really is becoming a menace that they're going to need to shut down soon. But the Wraith is also farming at 11k. Will this Apollo be able to keep shutting down the Wraith before the Wraith catches up in souls is the question. And it seems like Abrams is setting up for this Rift. Really wanting to grab this Rift so they can't. It is Mina versus Abrams. But Apollo is also coming in. We have the Stalling Hex, the Slam. Will the Mina be able to get out? The Mina does get fast just in time. But the Apollo misses on the Mina. And it seems like the Mina is going to be able to walk out, but the Lash does go in on the Apollo Abrams. And Calico's there too. Kelvin and Mina are coming in. It seems like the Hidden King is just knocking there to rotate for this Rift play. And Mina comes in for the ult on the Apollo, silencing him so he can't get those shields. Abrams going for the parry, but nothing happening. Going catch on the Lash. The Abrams getting parried and died. The parry really is just for insult to injury in this case. And the Apollo is, at this point, just trying to get out. Will he be able to wrap around and get out, or will the Lash Calico jump on him? We have this.
How embarrassing for you.
Well, it didn't lock on to the Lash, but, you know, I think it was more of the effect of getting away that maybe is what the Apollo wanted than really staying on top of the Lash. Disengaging Sigil, jumping on that roof. Able to out-movement the Lash here, and will the Apollo be able to get out, or the Calico Kelvin keep chasing? We have the Kelvin on him, looking for the snowball, and just running away. I think overall they're just going to let this Apollo leave. Although he has continued trying to get some poke. His gun not having the range to hyperline that Lash off of the vent. And we have the parry on the Calico just keeps getting buried. And we have the Captivating Reed, but the Captivating Reed does not go off in time to stop them from ulting. But we have the Slowing Hex coming in also from the Page and the Abrams. We have the Calico going down, and the Apollo chasing this Mina. Momoko coming in with the Slowing Hex. But is he not this far, but it's not enough to stop the Apollo. And the Apollo is really just not able to latch on to these people today. And the Page getting parried, but does not matter. Momoko being held in place dies to this engaging Sigil and goes to the gray screen.
Ready to use
We have Abrams ulting, looking for this Mina on that stun. Able to stun the Mina. Flash ult coming in for the Abrams, Apollo, and Page. And the Kelvin Dome. Will this be enough? But the Kelvin goes down while in his own dome underwater. But the Slam goes through and kills the Page. And it seems like they're just going to keep going for it. And the Calico going in, Abrams trying to parry the Calico, knowing how often they go for that melee off of the 2, but Abrams getting stunned. Moe Krill going in for the chase, and the Moe Krill will manage to take down the Abrams. What an amazing... That was a trade of all time. The Hidden King really wanting that Walker and having a lot of deaths for it, but the Archmother had a lot of deaths early on. It's hard to tell who really won out in that exchange, but the Hidden King is 7k up, and the Moe Krill still in there. And the Grey Talon's still in there, killing that Calico. Managing to get one more before getting out. Allowing this to be a 6k difference in the favor of the Hidden King. I'd love to see some more Sulling Hexes from this Archmother team right now. I mean, you have the Apollo, who's 1, 3, and ult all get shut down by this Sulling Hex, and there is no Dispel magic yet. And none of them have Slowing Hex. You really have to rely on this Moe Krill ult or this Mina ult, but we could get a stun out of either one of those. Same with this Wraith ult. A lot of their ults could shut them down, but the Slowing Hex is always an amazing way to guarantee they can't do anything. And the Bird coming in for that Lash. The Lash jumping on the Grey Talon, but the Paradox is there, and the Bird coming in for the stun, and the Paradox Grey Talon are managed to kill the Lash, who tried to jump on that Grey Talon. Kelvin is Ice Pathing over with this Urn, the speed buff from the Urn, the speed buff from the Ice Path. It really is just going to be hard to chase down this Kelvin. But it seems like Paradox is already waiting. They want this Urn just as much as this Kelvin does. Aaron's pushing into Walker. And on the right side, you had a Wraith pushing in because the Apollo, Page, and Geist jump on him, sending the Wraith back to the gray screen. We see them jumping on this Wraith, but we might start wanting to see a Disarming Hex from this Page soon. This Wraith could become a problem if we don't get like a Disarming Hex or a Curse. Mina does get the Dispel, they all getting Dispel, seeing how many Slowing Hexes or things they can dispel on that team. The Silence from the Paradox Wall, the Silence from the Geist can be dispelled, the Slowing Hex from that Abrams, and of course, the Captain Reed from that Page, which is going to be the bane of their existence, not letting them use their movement. Dispel Magic is always a good item in these games. It can do a lot for you. It looks like we have the Wraith ult, but the Apollo 2ing the Wraith ult, really stopping the Wraith from doing anything, and the Wraith is gonna get jumped.
Need help on Greenwich.
But with Moe Krill here, Moe Krill ulting, stopping the ult from the Geist, but Geist does get to keep their ult, even though we start hearing the voice line. If it doesn't go through, they do get it fully refunded. And we have Apollo here, just comboing this Kelvin as much as he can with this 3 in his 1, and the Moe Krill getting Captivating Red is stuck in place, and Apollo is just on this 1v3, Page having left 1v4, but without a Slowing Hex, Apollo will just be able to run out as he pleases. This Archmother team really is building a lot of damage, but they really aren't building the counter this Apollo, who is the most fed on their team. I mean, it also does stop the Abrams stun, and if we could see a Silence Wave or a Curse to stop this Geist from ulting, I mean, and a lot of stuff that could stop the Grey Talon flight. There's a lot of counter buys that can be built here to really shut down a lot of the enemy team, especially as they're running together. We could see a Silence Wave here from this Abrams, especially as we get to the point in this game where it's a lot of team fights. A Silence Wave could hit a lot of people on this enemy team. And Abrams goes down on the Moe Krill. Moe Krill gets hit by, was that a Curse I saw or just a GT's webbing? I think I just saw the GT's webbing, holding him down with the Abrams getting the punches and the stuns, and Apollo going in on this Kelvin. Page is here for the help, going through a Bookworm on the path of exit, getting a Captivating Reed and a Vortex Web, but we get a stun, a Dome from the Kelvin, but the Apollo ulted into the Dome just in time to kill that Kelvin. But the Mina will get out without a Slowing Hex or a Spirit, even a Spirit Burn there might have killed them. But the Apollo does keep chasing both out any shots going in. You can't get that 2 to lash onto the Mina, and your 1 just does not shoot far enough. But they do jump on to this Calico, and the Bird is coming in waiting for this Calico to be low enough. But the Bird does not see it. Instead of going back for the Moe Krill, who's on the enemy team, who is on the rest of their team, and the Wraith going in for this ult. And you see, once Apollo gets capacity, he cannot 1, he cannot 3. He is stuck right there in place, and no abilities, no damage. Of course, that's done. Of course, using the ult on the Apollo does run the risk of him countering it with his 2. And have the Geist go down after using their ults to this Calico, Lash, and Mina. And we get the Abrams sending the Calico into a wall, just so he can use that 2 to get out. But it seems like he's getting chased by the Calico, Mina, and Lash. All three of these are amazing movement characters. He does have a lot of sustain in his kit, but as long as they play outside the range, avoid that parry, and Calico goes in and slashes him back to the gray screen. As we go back to a little bit of a neutral state, we have to get these waves cleared. I mean, the best time to start attacking and pushing is when your wave is forward. If you take fights while your wave is at walkers, you're taking a ton of free walker damage, and they can start getting money for free. So it's always good to take a minute, go back, and clear these waves. But it seems like the Paradox might be getting caught out by this enemy team. Or maybe they're just exactly where they want to be, seeing the enemy team where they are. And shooting on this Lash, it seems like we have Apollo is going in on this Mina.
Our yellow walker is under attack.
This Apollo really likes to keep jumping on this Mina, and I would love to see some slowing hexes come out of them. Although maybe after all this spells, they're just trying to go for that pure damage. But I mean, and finally the slowing hex coming in just a little bit too late after the bat. But with the slowing hex's speed reduction allowing Apollo's ult to just barely clip the Mina. What an amazing ult from the Apollo. We have that stun used on the Monocro to keep the Monocro out of the Walker. Abrams going in for the slam, and they die, but Lash is also going in for the slam straight into the Walker stomp. Could this be a whole team fight from the Hidden King? But you get the double parry from the Abrams, and Apollo is running out. Even with that amazing Walker slam and Lash ult, he's had those parries and the stuns from the Abrams, and the sustain this man has, and the Kelvin Dome coming in for the Paradox Apollo and the Abrams, going in for another parry on the Calico. But just all that damage killing the Abrams. The Paradox does manage to kill that Kelvin. What a 1-for-1 trade here. Really could have been so much worse for the Hidden King, especially with that Lash ult. Lash going in for the slam. Mina's trying to chase on this Apollo, but Apollo gets the stun. We get the Dispel on the Calico. We don't have a slowing hex to get back on this Calico. And Mina is just going to run out and is going to run out. But they have the ult. We have an ult. This Mina is currently ulted by this Paradox with Apollo here. If Mina has bats, they could still possibly escape, because I don't think either of these two have a slowing hex. Interesting. A lot of pauses. We are about 15k ahead for this Hidden King side. With this fight, they could, with taking out this Mina, they're probably going to go look for a mid-boss here. And Mina with the slowing hex. The Abrams comes in for the slowing hex. The Monocro coming in, ulting the Paradox. And the Apollo is jumping on the Lash Monocro. Sorry, the Paradox has the slowing hex. Realizing how much this Mina is a nuisance, finally got their counter items and slowing hex. And Apollo is running through their page, trying to help with the getting out. But it looks like you have Geist who went in there and trying to help this Apollo get out, and they're looking to keep forcing them back. That could have been a great time to do mid-boss, but it seems like they are dead set on this fight. And with Kelvin back up and Lash back up, it can be hard to force this mid-boss, especially without ult priority. So it seems like we have to wait till the next fight to see who will claim the first mid-boss of the game. While the Hidden King may also be 20k up, there is an ample amount of teamfight ults they could be getting for this next fight. As we've seen before, we could get a Lash ult into a Kelvin Dome, which could give Wraith the chance to shred everybody out that's inside the dome or outside it. We have Mina, who's executing the ult, gets to everything. And it seems like we have Wraith using the ult, but getting stunned. And Apollo is really low. Kelvin chasing the Apollo. Calico jumping on that Apollo, making sure the Apollo does not live to see the next fight. To see the rest of this fight. And Abrams is on the run, jumping up, trying to juke him. It seems like they both went to the left, not really, but Abrams jumping down to jump on this Mina. But the rest of the team is still there, but Abrams does manage to take out the Mina before getting jumped. He's down in the Calico and getting taken out by the Calico's heavy melee. Paradox using their counter spell, trying to evade. We have Greytown going for this bird, but Lash taking the bird for him. Paradox swapping that Calico, but nobody is there to capitalize on that swap, and Paradox is going to get jumped. But it seems like the Calico and the Kelvin are just going to run away. as they both go to jump on this guy who's getting ulted by the Mo and Krill. And we have the Gloom Bombs and the 2. And they come out and all that damage from the Geist does not have ult up.
Item is on cooldown.
Geist in a very bad position right here. They could go down. Look, captivating read hitting this Mo and Krill. Could the Mo and Krill go down to this Paradox heavy melee? Gunshots. Will they go down? And the Paradox does
They're
manage
in
to
mid.
kill
Thanks.
Let's go
the
mid. They're in
Mo
mid.
and Krill. With this fight ending 5-3 in the favor of the Hidden King. They're gonna look to try and make this mid boss happen. But there is that Kelvin Dome they will have to be wary of. If mistimed or if something goes wrong, you could have a Kelvin Dome, just 1 or 2 people inside of that crystal with the rest of his team. And it seems like Kelvin, Calico, and Mina are gonna set up for this play. You have Mina ult and Kelvin ult. Will Kelvin get a huge ult here? It's just Geist. If they jump down, they could get the Geist. And they jump at a great time. It's just the Paradox and Geist, and there is no crystal to get. Will they manage to pull it off? But the Dome falls, and the Hidden King will get not 1, not 2, but we'll just get 1 and 2, the first 2 of those rejuves, and the Hidden King will get the other one. Taking out 1 rejuve is now 1-1, and the Geist is low, but the Mina is also just as low to this page. Calico looks to try and be on their way out. So does Lash. Aim is going in, trying to get that Mina, trying to pop out the Archmother's Rejuve, and they'll manage to take it. And with all the people down there, but the Mina has the mass to get up and out. This is why Swelling Hex is so important. If you're able to mash it out, you can get it on them before they can get their second baths off. But Mina is staying in with the Mo and Krill. Now looking for the pick of their own, as they see there's no more rejuves, and the Great Talon's low, and you have the Wraith coming ult, and you get the Geist going down, and you get the GT going down, and the Page all going down. And you have this wall coming up for a massive silence on the Archmother team. And Apollo is just gonna jump on them. Will the Apollo manage to get the Wraith? Will they manage to get this Wraith? And the Apollo will stun the Wraith and melee, and the Wraith goes down. But the Apollo managed to get stunned, and the Mo and Krill gets parried, and the Abrams gets parried. This is the Burger Box and Parry Fest down here in the tunnel of the pit. And we get that stun from the Apollo on that Lash. But it seems like, as all is said and done, it ends up being a 4v1, and the Apollo goes down with a ritual reset for the Hidden King team. They went from up 2 going into that fight, letting the Kelvin Dome, just 2 of them, managing to get a rejuve and managing to take out all of them and get this full ritual reset. If they manage to get a good push here, they could start evening out the score, going from 20k down to even just off of this one fight, because you're going to get a Walker, and you're going to get this Rift, and you're going to start clearing out these waves. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have the game evened up from a 20k difference to a 5k difference. Well, they're still down a little bit. It's only 2k now. Well, they're still maybe down a little bit. It just does not matter. This late in the game, this small of a difference, is a much better state they are in now than they were just 2 minutes ago.
I see Lash.
And let's look at some of the states of these builds. We have your tanks. You have your tanks doing your tanks builds. It looks like you have a very gun-oriented Paradox here, trying to play sort of to get their damage off. As you see often in these ranked matches, you look more for your own damage rather than util sometimes. Especially because in this Kelvin, building for damage, but also has Decay, which is a nice util item. Really trying to cut down this Abrams healing. Calico does not have as many items as you think at 30k. Does that math up? 64, 64, 64, 3 times 64. There it is, okay. I'm like, that math is not adding up. You get the Spear Burn, you get the Tank Buster. Calico is going to be doing a lot more damage than they were at that last fight. And the Wraith is now at 34k. I would love to see a Disarming Hex from this Paradox or from this Page for this Wraith, or even a Curse. Especially when you're playing Page, you're not looking to deal the most damage on the team. A Curse could be big here for the team, as it would stop the Wraith from playing the game, stop the Kelvin from doming, stop the Lash from ulting, and stop the Mina from getting away. Cursing any of the enemy team will be advantageous for this game. Especially how much of a problem this Wraith is going to become. Apollo coming for the ult, getting on that Mo and Krill, and the Mo and Krill getting jumped by the Abrams, the Apollo getting everybody, but he comes for the ult on the Abrams, who is currently ulting, and the Page ult coming in to kill the Mo and Krill and save the Abrams, and Apollo is on this Calico. Apollo gonna fall to the Calico's Arctic Blast and the Kelvin Snowball. And Wraith getting cursed by
I see the enemy.
trap of this Grey Talon. It looks like Paradox is caught in the middle of a bunch of them, and they're going to be trying to jump on Paradox. But the Paradox misses their ult on the Slash. But the Lash does go down anyways, and it seems like the Hidden King is going to come out on top, being 2 up in this fight, but that does not mean yet. But the Wraith gets hyperlined and slammed and loses a 1.7k bag. You do not want to see that bag being dropped to the enemy team. You do not want to be fighting with that bag and have the chance of being dropped to the enemy team. I mean, you are able to swing from that right there swings from an even 192 to 192 to 192 to 196 to 188. That is a 4k swing.
I see Mina.
4k? But mid-boss is not up for another minute 30. So while the loss is bad and they are down 7k, the loss is not as bad as it could be. As long as they don't stagger themselves, they'll be up for this mid-boss in time. And the Page has 40k souls, dealing a lot of their damage. And so is this Paradox. Kelvin getting their rescue and trying to keep their Wraith alive, being able to save people out of some dangerous situations. And we have this Gun Lash with Spellslinger, Siphon Life, Sharpshooter, as we've seen with the more recent Lash builds going very gun-oriented. Looks like Apollo is going to take this urn, try and get a little bit more souls for himself and for his team. Nothing wrong with it, especially when they have all the map pressure in the world at that moment. And it seems like Geist might have a confrontation here. It is a 4. There were 4 people on blue to just Geist, but it seems to even out with a lot more people coming blue. And mid-boss is up in 30 seconds. We could see a fight forced by this Abrams. By this Geist, actually, and this Abrams looking for this Lash. Lash getting slowing hex by the Abrams. And the Abrams going in for a stun. Apollo jumping in on the Paradox 3 Kelvin. Looks like they're trying to hide behind this wall while poke is happening, making so they can't get poked, but the enemy can be. They're really waiting for this GT. All of the waves seem to be in favor of this Hidden King side. Mid-boss seems to be up. Are they going to look for a forced mid-boss here? No, they're not. Neither team wants to go for that coin flip, and both teams, with how close it is, the Hidden King does not want to risk another Kelvin Dome. They really cannot force this mid-boss without Kelvin Dome, because that Dome is put top of the mid-boss last time, stalling for the rest of their team to get back up and get there. Molencro looking for an ult target, but seeing the rest of that team did not want to pull it. But the Paradox slow, and the swap, and the silence on this Amina Paradox. Amina using their Dispel, but in ulting on them, but the Molencro is not so lucky to have it out as the fast that this Amina has. And Abrams is ulting, but Abrams has to ult out, and the Apollo comes in. Not the Apollo, the Lash comes in, ulting on the enemy team. And the Wraith goes down in the front of the enemy team. It just seems like the team fight micro is going to go the way of the Hidden King for this game. And we have the Apollo ult. Wow. Mo and Crow ulting the Page with the Apollo there, not able to get enough damage to stop it. And Lash going on this Grey Talon. This is a close 1v1, but it seems like we have the Geist coming in, and the Geist will come in and get the kill. The Mo and Krill is low and is going to run out, but they are up 4-2 with their gun carry still alive and their GT still alive. They have plenty of damage to take out this mid-boss, and without the Kelvin ult there is nothing this Archmother team can do other than try and make a hero play. Oh, it's enough Molencro is probably going to go for this Rift, knowing they're on mid-boss. Trying to minimize any damage they can, but are they in time? Will they be able to take it before this Abrams gets there? Or will the Abrams even go for it? The Abrams does get on it. And the Molencro is just gonna leave, knowing it's not worth the death, especially this late in the game. They don't want to stagger their timers that much with another 80-second death.
Take this gift.
80, 60? It's around there. 33 minutes. It's gonna be around 80 seconds. Now with these rejuves, and the only thing left their base, it seems like they're gonna clear their farm. Make sure all their waves are good. You don't want a backdoor potential happening. They don't have to rush into this. They have around 2 minutes and 15 seconds still. But it looks like Abram sees a Moan Krill caught out and goes for the Swelling Cactus and the slam. But the rest of Abram's team is not there, so he really is waiting for his team. And now is Apollo and Abram on this Moan Krill. And so that Kelvin is just gonna pull him out, not realizing the rest of the team is not there. Or even if they do, they'd rather just fight in their base. And this page does have this curse for this Moan Krill and for this Wraith. I mean, honestly, just for anyone on their team. Everybody on their team right now is a threat, and this curse is going to be great. You can take out the damage, the mass, the pick potential, the CC potential, the dome. There's just so many things from all these characters you can take, and with everything I just said, you'd have to guess which characters I'm talking about, because it is just all of them. And it seems like they're gonna go for this left side shrine while the Moan Krill's on that right side trying to defend it. Kelvin is coming in, but the Abrams is not gonna get high enough to try and pull him off. But he doesn't need to, he has a slowing hex. And the Apollo is on the Kelvin. Looking for this kill, but Kelvin does manage to get back into their spawn. Last going in front of ult, only getting one person, but even with getting that one person, you got Apollo with the 2, going up and taking him out of the ult, as Apollo should be doing. Apollo just holding his ult, looking for someone to stun, and he sees that Moan Krill. But really, they're just going to take out this Archmother. And the rejuves are going to be up in 30-ish seconds. Do they want to try and stay?
What's the plan?
Or do they want to leave, play it safe, and just wait for it? Paradox is down using rejuve. Everyone is full health. But so is the enemy, and the ult cryo goes to nobody. Both teams have 3 ults.
Ready? Lancelot and friends are
One of those is being dome. Could make it hard to force it. Apollo is jumping in on this Mina, trying to use a rejuve before it's up, but is not going to die in time. So the rejuve will stay, but the Kelvin goes down without using dome, and so does the Wraith. They chase the enemy team out, not realizing the enemy team was still at full health. Apollo may be down, but their damage and their dome is gone. So this game is going to be wrapped up by the Hidden King. Page going in for the ult, just trying to stun any of the Archmother people still in the pit. Moan Krill really is just staying alive as long as they can, but the Slowing Axe coming in, and the Death coming in, and the Mina going down, and the Calc going down, and the Lash making a last effort also going down.
Well played.
Good job.
When looking at these games, you have some games that the difference is this excellent, beautifully executed macro. You're out rotating, you're always there for the picks, you're outplaying on the map side. Is the most common we see here when it comes to a win. But this game, it wasn't the picks that decided it. I would say it... What's going on? I would say it was the team fight micro inside of those fights. We had just the amazing gameplay from the Hidden King side, able to play together and look for what they needed to. And as we kept seeing time and time again, the Archmother would be way too split up. You'd have Wraith alone. 1 second. Sorry about that. My dogs were whining and yelping and may have fallen in the pool, so I had to go get them out. They're good though. The dogs are okay. Always good. The dogs stay okay. Very good dogs. They're just playing a little bit too rough outside. Seems they fell in. Which it tends to happen, but I love them. Anyways, I think the biggest issue here is in the early game, the Apollo was able to just run through these team fights and kind of keep up the pace of these fights, even though it was always an even fight going in. It was really the micro of the fight of just the damage they were doing and who they were targeting. And I think they really needed to get a slowing hex earlier in the game. I think they just need slowing hex earlier in the game, because when the Apollo is the one that is ahead and is running the lobby for the majority of the lobby, you really need to look for the counter items. You really need to look what can stop them. Because right here, this Apollo is 11 minutes, is 2k higher than everybody else. Even for most of the game, he is sitting here top of the souls. And while the Wraith is also up there in souls, the Apollo is able to be a lot more active early game than a Wraith is. So you really need to start seeing these counter items from this Calico and from this Mo Krill and from this Kelvin and around the team to stop the Apollo and the Abrams, who really seem to be your big problems here, to stop them from snowballing the rest of these team fights. They didn't need picks. They were looking for the bigger fights where they just kept winning by being ahead. Of course, Paze and Paradox and everyone just got ahead by the end, but I think they really needed to find a way in this mid-game to stop the Apollo, because Apollo really was being a menace for most of this mid-game. I mean, I think if we look here, Apollo had the highest damage, and there is a very simple way to shut down Apollo in slowing hex, which gets rid of their 1, 3, and 4. You don't get the execute, you don't get the heal, you don't get the damage or the movement, you just have the stun left and his weak gun. Overall, this Paradox also was just doing a huge amount of damage with their crippling headshot and their headhunter and their expect shot, and of course hollow point. I just would have loved to have seen more counter items from this Archmother team. Maybe a silence wave for this para, or even a disarming hex if the gun damage is the problem, and a slowing hex for them. And I mean, silence waves in general is a great item, especially as a frontliner, when you need to start helping your team get ahead. This Moan Crow, who was constantly in the front, or as Calico, really could have been looking for a silence wave, because you could hit like Geist, Apollo, and Paradox all at the same time. Or you could be getting some more anti-heal for this Abrams, because if we look here, there's no anti-heal on the Moan Krill. A Spirit Burn on the Mina late game, a Spirit Burn on the Calico late game. No anti-heal from the Wraith. They do have a Siphon Bullets from the Lash, which was in the mid-game, mid to late. But there's just no... Kelvin has heal. So there's one early game anti-heal. And this Abrams and Apollo, you see how much these people are healing during these team fights. Just some more anti-heal, something more to deal with these people instead of just building straight damage, I think would have been the key here for this Archmother to stay in the game and win more of these fights. Overall, though, it was a good game. Most of it was pretty even. The laning phase was really back and forth, especially that mid lane was just a kill here, kill there, kill here, kill there. I mean, it's just what you want to see. It's not what you want to see. It's what is a very entertaining lane, and both teams are really trying their hardest to get ahead. That Wraith trying to start scaling early so they can run the lobby, and it's Apollo knowing that they are the early game lane bully and the early game damage and sustain and tanking. They know if they can get ahead early, they can run this lobby until the rest of their team is just on par, until the rest of their team is able to start carrying, as Apollo does a little bit worse in the later game. But this Apollo never did worse in the later game. He just kept getting kills, kept running the lobby. It's what you want to see as an early game Spirit Nuker. Get ahead, stay ahead. That's the goal. I'll be back doing more casting later. I'm going to be casting some pugs for the Pub Cup. Bub Cup? For Bub Cup later. So, I want to maybe save my voice a little bit more. Not trying to run through it by doing 2 or 3 games today. Especially when I'm going to maybe even be doing 3 games later today. And if I decide to do more from just some general pugs. So. Also, the Spell Slingers and Sling Spellers are going to be doing some in-houses. So if they already have 12 people, or if we're looking at we have more than enough people already, I'll probably try and do some commentating over that as well, just to get some practice in. But as always, I'm trying to really do these one random ranked game a day. I don't know anybody. I just going in, trying to evaluate what's going on. Sorry for missing yesterday. I got very busy on Friday night, as everyone does. You know, it's Friday night, it's after work. You try and do some stuff. It's just what happens. But I will not try and miss any more days. It is my goal to do at least one match a day, have it streamed / filmed so I can then upload it, and have it just to rewatch. Anyways, have a good evening, good morning, good night, depending on your time zone or whatever time you're watching this at.